Good afternoon, everybody. This is Jessica Lockwood with EA Engineering. I just wanted to go over some housekeeping items with you before we get started. We're asking that attendees hold their questions until the end of the presentation. The online attendees are in listen-only mode, and you can ask a question by typing it into the question pane on the GoToWebinar panel, or you can raise your hand by clicking on the hand icon, which is located on the tab off of the side of the panel. Once I see that your hand is raised, I can unmute you. I'm going to turn the presentation over to Lynette Waite.
Thank you, Jessica. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Lynette Waite, Chairman of the NAOC Operations and Standards Committee. Today, on behalf of the OSC and the Technology Committees, I'd like to welcome you to our webinar. Today's webinar is titled MISTIC. MISTIC is an acronym for Munitions, Yoking, Software, Technological Information Core. The webinar will be presented by John Matta, President of Battlefield Clearance Team Licensing Company. This webinar will illustrate how MISTIC streamlines the collection and dissemination of UXO MEC data. Topics will include the collection and dissemination of ordnance data, including QC and third-party QA oversight. We'll also discuss the capabilities supporting GPS recorded data, standard and custom forms, and introduce MISTIC's Lincoln Log, which is an automated work hour logbook. With that, I'd like to welcome John, and I'll go ahead and turn the webinar over to you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And I am starting my broadcast now. I am John Matta, President of the Battlefield Clearance Team Licensing, and I want to thank you for taking the time out today to join us to learn a little bit more about our software program called MISTIC. I know your time is valuable, so I will try to keep this short, sweet, and to the point. I'm sure you're all aware of the diverse challenges that we have in this incredible field that we're in. And along those challenges, a lot of us is sweeping the grids that we go into, along with all the data that we have to collect, and then collate that data, send it out to our supervisors, onto corporate, and then ultimately onto DoD, the client. Along with all that, it's incredibly arduous to do, and takes up to 3 to 4 weeks sometimes to get this information over to the client at the end of the day. So what we've decided to do is we've taken these key issues and we tried to address them. I'm sure you guys are aware of all the data collection and having to duplicate the entries at the end of the day. I know that especially when you get into multiple teams out into the field, you have 5, 6 team leads bringing in different information, and it's hard to look at their chicken scratch that they have and trying to interpret what they have. So it's we try to take a look at that, and also the packages, the resumes and work certificates and so on. I won't belabor that point because you guys know it. So what we've done is we've taken all of that and put it into one single device that goes into the field to collect the data and securely and safely send that data back to multiple locations that have access to your database. And it's up to you who has access to that database. So from weeks to minutes is what the idea here is. And how this works, and this is the features of what MISTIC is, we'll get into. Custom forms. Custom forms, what that means is that we take your forms and we will actually load them into our program so that you can use your safety forms, your MEC forms, your data logs, any form that you want, and we will convert that into the back end, and you will then be able to load them into the database and then send them out to the tablet to be filled out into the field. And then you can you can update certain forms throughout the day, and at the end of the day, those forms are then sent back. One of the major forms that we have is your safety daily forms, tailgate forms, whatever you want to call them. Those forms are signed by every individual at the tailgate, and with the certified PIN number, and then that is recorded, and then all that information is sent back as well. On mission setups, you set your MRAs, your MRSs, your projects, contract numbers, contract information. You'll select the forms that you want to go with those type of projects, and also assign your teams. And once that's done, you'll push that information to the tablet, and then they're ready to walk into the field each morning. From the tablet, you would be able to collect your GPS mapping and collect the data that you have, your photograph, whether it's photographs, descriptions, blast radiuses, the type of item that you're looking at, and also which is also sent back. Now, the different flag colors you're looking at there's 6 of them really, and they're customizable to you, so you can decide which one it is. We've been asked for biological, vegetations, and obviously munitions and so forth. At the end of the day, you'll push the information from the tablet back to the back end database, and it is immediately becomes QCable. All data that is collected, every shred of it, is able to be QC'd from whoever's desk or PC that they're at, or laptop or desktop, doesn't really matter. We also offer custom reports. These custom reports are, once the information has been QC'd, it becomes available to be reports to be generated from, and those reports can be either PDF or sent to a CSV file, your choice, or both. Efficiency gains. This is based on 35 guys in the field, and 3 of those people are supervisors. And now I know that the numbers will obviously vary per company. Everyone does it a little differently, but this gives you an idea of what how we've done it. The main things that we used here for food and lodging and the per diem, we were in California for the time there, and we used a $35 an hour labor cost, which is probably a little high, but you get the idea, and you can extrapolate it out as you see fit. Obviously, the numbers will change depending on where you're located at. And the main thing is what's next. So what we've done is we've taken the data from the field, securely and accurately send it back to the home office, as well as being able to send it to not just the SUXO and QC, but also to the PM and corporate. They can see everything as well. And if you desire, you can allow your client to see that information as included in that. So pre-mission, we've developed Lincoln logs, which is not just a log book of hours and tracking hours, but it's also a staffing capabilities. And it has 2 main benefits to individuals and corporate benefits. So on the individual side, everyone is assigned a Mystic ID number. Now that Mystic ID number you'll have a password and a PIN number assigned to you. If you have an Army Corps engineer number, that number will be captured as well. It won't be part of the Mystic ID number, but it will have that information. That information will follow you for the rest of your life. So wherever you go from employer to employer, all you have to do is give them, if they're using Mystic, give them your Mystic ID number, and they'll load it in, and all of your information will come to them. Resumes, work certificates, and so forth. If you're an individual, you can register online and have the capability of uploading your resume, your work certificates, health certificates, all that stuff. You can scan your work hour logbook in there, and once it's in there, you'll have the ability to upload any new hours that you've worked if you're working for a corporation that's not using Mystic. And if you are working for a corporation that is using Mystic, you'll be able to, it'll track your hours automatically. On your certifications, if your health certifications and all your work certifications, if there's expiration dates on there, you'll receive an email notification at the 90, 60, and 30 days mark notifying you that you're about to expire. The other benefit for an individual tech or skill level is that they'll have there's an area there to allow them to let their current potential employers know what your work availability is. So if you know you're going to be available for X number of months, you can say you're available, and the corporations can see you. Lastly, you'll be able to take all of your packages, all of your resumes, work shirts, and so forth, and bundle them into one PDF, and then be able to email that PDF to anyone you desire to get it to. On the corporate side benefits, you'll be able to see all qualified techs, and while you're searching for individuals to load out your projects. And yes, you can have a favorites list if you want, and which we've been asked to do, which we are happy to do. You also will get their PDFs once they give you once you have a Mystic ID number from them, you load it in and you'll receive their package, which will include all their resumes, information, work certificates, health certificate, and work hour logbook to go with that. You will automatically, all techs in the field, anyone in the field who is using a tablet or is assigned onto the tablet, their hours will be tracked automatically. It also allows you to add hours before the tailgate and hours after the close of the day, because I know a lot of people work before then and after then. You also get the work certification alerts at 90, 60, and 30 days to keep on top of your guys and let them know that their certs are about to expire. And lastly, is the third-party QA access. Now, how this works is when the information comes in from the field, from the tablet, it goes into a QC file, and when the QC guy is done QCing that information, there's a button that they'll be able to push, and it'll be a third-party QA. And by pushing that green button, it'll send an email to the point of contact that you've assigned, whether it's from the Navy or Army or wherever, notifying them that there's a project or information that is requiring their QA. Once they receive that email, they would go on to Lincoln Logs and log in, and they'll see your database and access it with their password. And you will then get notified that they have done that and that they are on there, and you will also know how long they've been on there and when they sign out. And then once they've closed out, you'll receive an email saying that information. And in a nutshell, that's basically our program. And if there's any questions, I'm happy to take them.
All right, just a reminder to those who are online, if you have a question, you are welcome to type your question in the question pane, or you can raise your hand by clicking on that little hand icon that's on the tab off the side of the panel there. And if you raise your hand, I can unmute you and you can ask your question out loud. Currently, I don't see any hands up or any questions typed in.
Well, I would like to take one moment to say thank you to a few folks, namely Rich Mendenhall of ECC, John Herbert of Leidos, James Bradshaw of CB&I, Tim Wink, NAPAC, and Tim Pierce and Bobby Klepper. These gentlemen have been instrumental in helping us get to where we are, and I want to say thank you to them.
All right, so I have a bunch of questions that have just been typed in.
Okay.
The first question I have here is, what is the cost of each controller?
Okay, good question. So how it works, the cost basis is this, and it will vary based upon per user. We charge $150 per user. There's a 10 user minimum per month. That's your basic cost for Mystic. Now there's a initial setup fee, which is a very low price, and also there's a maintenance and support option that you have. What happens when you do that is that we take all your forms. If you become a customer of ours, we get all your forms. We've done 30 or 40 of them, per customer at this point. It doesn't matter how many there are. We load all them up for you. We take the burden of that away from you, and we set you up with a full package. Mystic is designed in two sections. It's a front end and a back end. The back end is where the database and all your information is held, and the front end is where the tablet is. Now it will be installed upon your tablet. It's an application that goes on there. So it's just running the application in the field, connecting to a Wi-Fi, and sending that information back to the database. I hope that answered that question.
All right. The next question was in a similar vein, asking what is the cost of the software, but I think you kind of covered that.
Yeah, the cost of the software arises obviously based upon users, but I can tell you from with no hesitation at all that the more users that you have, the more money you will save in the field. It just works exponentially that way. Even if you have 10 users in the field, your cost is $1,500, and you're going to be saving way more money than that. People that are using Mystic will be in a much better position to bid on projects than people who don't use Mystic. It's everything is automated. All their forms and everything on the back end. Even if a form doesn't appear on the tablet, it's just a back end database form. The information that's collected would pre-populate all those forms. It just saves so much time and energy and effort that it's hard to compete with. And we try to keep our costs so low that the idea is that we need several of you, everyone, to get involved in order to keep the costs low. We want to try and help standardize this industry. And by doing that, we'll have as a forms library that you can participate in or not. It's up to you. If we take your forms, we'll build your forms, put them in there, and give them to you. And if you want to have some of those forms in the main library, then we'll put them into the library. And the idea here is that if we know that out of 30 companies, 25 of them are using this safety protocol or this daily safety form, then that tells the Army Corps of Engineers and AFAC, hey, this form is used quite a bit. Why don't we standardize it with that form? And we can help. You guys can help steer how this gets standardized by doing that.
All right. The next question I have here is, can you discuss data admin abilities and how can the data be reviewed and edited prior to QC and QA?
Okay. All right. Any information that is collected on the tablet, it's editable on the tablet up until the point of before you actually would sync the tablet. Most of the information, forms can be changed. There are certain things that cannot be changed, like the safety protocol. Once the safety protocol, we call them safety protocols, but they're daily safety briefings, which also include the AHAs. You'll be able to upload all your AHAs onto the safety and be part of your safety daily briefing. And once that is signed by a PIN number, it becomes a living document and it can no longer be changed. There's an activity log, a running journal, daily journal that has date and time stamped on the tablet as well, that take away that ability to you're having to carry around another logbook or activity logbook. So all these things are on the tablet already, and then you just run in there and type in what you need to type in, and it'll keep a running tally for what's going on. Those can be changed, and once it's saved, again, it cannot be changed. It can only be changed by QC. All information can be changed on the QC side. That's not a problem. However, there's a caveat. All information that will still be captured, even though it's changed by the QC, the original values will remain in the database. It won't show up on a report if you don't want it to, but it has to stay there as a record of what's been occurred in case there's been an incident or something like that. So I hope that helps.
Okay, the next question I have here is asking if there are any quirks with the GPS positioning overseas or communication issues or other data transfer issues.
We have not seen that. We've had it in Guam, we've had it in Afghanistan. We have not run into any issues so far. What we are going to be doing relatively soon, and updates are something that happen every 2 weeks. We're running at a feverish pitch right now but based upon feedback from you guys. You guys tell us what you want. We go ahead and code it and do it. It's one of the beautiful things about having your own software company working for you, at a fraction of what it would cost you to hire someone to do it. So we make these changes as quickly as humanly possible, and we do sprints every 2 weeks. Now, one of the sprints that we'll be coming out with is that we will be able to upload your own maps. So if there's a quirk overseas that you're using, you'll be able to pop in your own map that's from the base or from wherever that has their own lat and logs already built into it to address that scenario.
All right. The next question I have here is asking whether there is a yearly maintenance fee.
There is. Right now, it's $4,500 for a year, which is extremely low. And also, what we've done is we've created a admin package. We realize that there are certain admin folks that will want access to all this information that are running the corporate office, and we've cut down a deal at that's instead of cutting into the 10 users per minimum, it's $5,000 per year for those 5 guys.
All right, we got a bunch of questions here, so let's see. The next one is there a way to track data entries that get changed in the field? And because we need to keep record of each change in the data.
Yeah, all data is captured date and time stamped, and even on the journal or activity log that we call it, your daily log. Even if you have the date, you say something happens, and obviously you can't sit there and type something up. You got to deal with the situation at hand, and then at lunchtime you catch up on your log, right? So you go ahead and type it in. You can change the time on the tablet to adjust to when it accurately was. But even that change, when you said the change, it's still date hidden is when you made an entry. So everything is recorded no matter what, as far as when something is occurring.
All right. Does Mystic work offline?
Yeah, I mean, as far as the tablet is concerned, you don't need to be connected to Wi-Fi or anything when you're connecting. You need a GPS signal, and then that's all you need. But that's through Google Maps, and you don't really need that's the location services. You don't need to be connected to any kind of internet activity for that. So you're offline. It's anticipated you're offline all day long, and then you come back to the CP or the trailer, and you connect to Wi-Fi, and that's when you do your push of information.
All right. And then what kind of hardware is necessary? Panasonic Toughbook only, or is it iPad compatible?
It's any Android device at this moment. We are working on the iOS. I would anticipate an iOS, with 30 days or so capability. So by the time you call me and we meet and documents are signed, you'll have your iOS.
All right. And how much do you charge to convert a company's forms?
Nothing. We do it for free. It's part of the service. And we'll do as many forms as you want. It doesn't matter. It's part of the deal we set with you in the beginning, and it's something that we want to do for everyone in this industry, and we want to help change it.
All right. Can the RTK GPS data be input directly?
Yeah. So you can upload information into a dig sheet, for example, northing and easting. It also will convert it for you automatically if you have the Latin long. It converts it to a northing and easting as well. So we understand that a lot of these dig sheets get pretty hairy, and some of the information is uploaded, and then you go out and do your dig, and then you come back, you load more information, and it's a living document basically. So yes, it'll be able to go up and back, up and down as you will.
All right. You may have already answered this question, but someone asked, do the maps work offline?
Yes, it does. I mean, yes, the tablet will work offline. Obviously you need to have an internet connection on the back end, to access the database, but and you need Wi-Fi to actually push the data, or Ethernet or whatever. But while you're collecting the data, you do not need to be online.
All right. If during the day I have 300 or 400 items recorded on various forms, can I edit them in tabular form prior to sending them forward, or do they need to be edited in form mode?
No, you'll be able to edit them in a tabular form, not in the form mode. In fact, the form mode is actually changing today or tomorrow. We're doing another update, and that form mode is changing the way it's coming out right now. So basically, the form pops up on the tablet. You select the form you want to fill out, and as you fill it out and update it, as long as you don't save it and you just update it, you can keep changing it all day long. It's when you save it is when it saves it.
All right. What is the GPS accuracy?
It's within a meter right now, but we do have the capability of tying into a Trimble. But only with an R1, R2 device. So if you're using one of those two devices, you can tie into your tablet via Bluetooth and get into that centimeter accuracy that you're looking for.
All right. Does the data collection function allow for nested or conditional forms? For example, different data collection forms for different types of items found in the field?
Yeah, absolutely. Any form that you have, we can create it. So and on top of that, and I'll throw this out there. We are building a base where you can upload your information. For example, if you have, we're trying to cut down on the typing going on in the field, obviously. So any kind of drop down list that we can create for you guys is going to be better for everybody involved. So if you're in an area that's going to be collecting munitions or 155 or 105s or 40 Mike Mikes, that can be written out so many different ways. So we just want to have a drop down list of what your those items, and it'll automatically populate the rest of the data, whether it's the weight of it, the NEWs, all that sort of information. So these types of things will be added as uploads, or are added as uploads that you control.
All right.
I hope that answers that question.
when it tax time changes, When it tracks time for changes entry, is it computer time, i.e. local time zone, or a common time zone, GPX time every time?
Okay, well, that actually depends upon your tablet setting. So if your tablet setting is set at, you know, the local time zone, then that's what you'll be seeing on there.
All right. And lastly, this is a little more of a statement than a question, but someone mentioned that there was an issue trying to get a connection in the field at Arnold, even when a hotspot on the phone made it hard to connect. Or yeah, where even a hotspot on the phone made it hard to connect.
Yeah, I'm sure you're going to have, you know, situations where you're in the field and you're not going to have connectivity. But as long as you have connectivity at your trailer or wherever you're going to at a hotel room at the end of the night, you can push your data. So like I say, you don't have to be connected to use the Mystic in the field. It's just when you want to send that data, you need to be connected.
All right, those were all the questions that I had online.
Well, I appreciate your time very much. And if there's anything else, everyone feel free to give me a call or contact us on our website. And actually, you can go to the website. There's a lot more information on there as well.
All right.
And I appreciate your time.
John, on behalf of the NAOC, I'd really like to thank you for your time to develop and deliver this webinar today. We're grateful. It was very informative. We're appreciative of that. We are always looking for new ideas and new topics for webinars. With that, if there's no other questions, I'd just like to say thanks once more time and wish everybody a great afternoon.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate everyone's time. Thanks for that.
All right.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
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 Bye.